Hey y'all, I'm Val with Our Forever Farm. If you are new to this channel, we welcome you. If you're an old friend, hang around, we're gonna make something good to eat. So I've made this before. It's kind of a copycat of the chicken marsala, but with a little twist. I add a little different things. This is the ingredients I use, and you will find the full recipe to this in the description box. Look at these pork chops. They're thick, and I got them on sale a while back at Kroger's for $5.75. If you go to the clearance part of their meat, you can stock up very quickly on meat. I've got mushrooms, I've got spices, and I'm adding some noodles. I would love to have egg noodles, but I can't even remember what these are called. Are they ziti? Is that what it's called? I don't know. I'm just using what I have. This is my last can of beef broth, and I'm gonna have some yeast rolls that I just took out of the freezer that I had. I'm gonna butter them. So let's get to cooking. So before we get started, I want to share with you about a pantry challenge that is on Instagram and YouTube. I follow her on YouTube. It's Three Rivers Homestead, but she challenges you. I don't know how many years she's done it. Every year for January and February to try to not go into a store. But I'm going to show you a few of the things I cook along the way using what I have out of my pantry and my freezer. I thank her for doing that and everybody involved. I was hesitant about announcing this because I'm just a small channel, but I like doing it. I wanted to do it, and so I'm going to tag her in it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix up some flour, and y'all know I don't normally measure, but like I say, this is all-purpose flour, and the recipe will be in the description box. I'll put the original recipe, but I do it a little bit different, and you'll see that as we go along. So I'm adding garlic salt, garlic powder, a little bit of salt because you don't need much. And the original recipe calls for oregano, but I'm using Italian seasoning, and it has oregano in it. So I'm just gonna add that in there. I gotta do this quickly because Sweet Hunter is starving. So what I've done here is I've laid my pork chops out on a piece of plastic wrap, and I'm gonna cover it with a piece of plastic wrap. These are extra thick pork chops, and so I don't have a meat tenderizer thing. I just use what I have. My little Huddy wrote his name on my dough roller. Thankfully, it was with a food grade marker. But all I'm doing here is just trying to tenderize this pork chop and get it just a little bit thinner. I went back to listen to the rules of the Pantry Challenge, and really there are no rules. You make your own rules. Some people are going to go to the store and set a budget. Some people are trying not to go to the store at all. So in the meantime, I'm putting on a pan to boil water to put my pasta in. Get that going while I'm working on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. I need to whisk these dry ingredients together. My whole goal in this pantry challenge is using what I have, not running to the store for every little thing. Now, if you need something like milk or fresh fruit or vegetables, I think that's fine. That's the way I'm going to look at it. If we're in a predicament where we have to eat out because we travel, I mean, it's okay. But at home, you want to use what you have. I like to challenge myself. It's fun. I'm over here at the stove, and I am heating up my iron skillet. I'm going to pour some olive oil in here. This is what we're going to fry pork chops in. Now my pan is heating up, and I'm going to take about 3 tablespoons of butter. If I've never told you, which I think I have many times probably, butter will not burn when mixing it with olive oil. So what I want to do is have that taste of the butter. I'm just letting this pan get hot, and I'm gonna go back to breading my pork chops. All I'm doing is just breading the pork chop. I'm just gonna put it right back there on that plastic. Remember, my pan is over there heating, so I've gotta watch it close. And I'm just gonna bread this real good. These are extra thick, even though I tenderized them and tried to thin them out some. But they are what I have. I found them on sale, like I told you, at Kroger's. So my pan is boiling it's about to boil for my noodles. My iron skillet is hot and it's ready for the pork chops. So I've got those breaded. And I'm just gonna set them in here and get those brown on both sides. I am going to pour these noodles into my boiling water. So the next thing I have ready is mushrooms. I bought some fresh mushrooms and I need to use these. And because of the pantry challenge, I'm trying to use everything up. That's the main reason I picked this recipe. I am making buttered noodles here. I'll completely cook down the liquid, add butter, salt, and pepper. Okay, I'm thinking it's time to turn them. Let's see what they look like. Very pretty. All we're doing is searing these. We're just getting them brown. Nothing like an iron skillet to cook any kind of meat in. There's nothing like an iron skillet to cook anything in, to be honest, to me. You know, you can follow recipes just by the book, or you can have fun with it and change things up, and that's what I'm doing. So I've put my bread in, and my noodles are almost done. I'm gonna add my mushrooms right on top of this. And I'm gonna add beef broth. Just a whole jar of this. A little bit of garlic. Don't tell Sweet Hunter because he says he don't like garlic. He likes Italian. So from now until the end of February, I'll be showing you what I use out of my pantry, using what I have and challenging myself, being intentional. So the recipe calls for Marsala, I guess that's how you say it, wine. I don't have any wine. I don't have a problem with cooking with wine at all. It cooks the alcohol out of it, but I don't keep it. So what I'm doing is using this beef, and I don't know how you say that, but y'all can read it. I'm using it with my beef broth because it calls for like almost 2 cups. Well, right at 2 cups. And that'll just give it some more flavor. I would say you could use anything you want. Now we're just gonna simmer this for about 15 minutes. My bread's in, my noodles are about done. This is gonna be good. And if you don't like mushrooms, use bell peppers. Use something you like. Just make this recipe your own. That's what I'm doing. All I'm doing with my noodles is I'm cooking it down. I'm gonna go ahead and add some butter in here and some salt and pepper. I love buttered noodles. I just think they're delicious. I do not drain the liquid out. I cook it down. When I used to blog, there were some girls that had a Friday night sew-in. Me and Mom had so much fun. She would be in her house, I would be in my house, and all the other girls would be doing the same. It was fun, so this is comparable. If you've been with me on Facebook, you'll see I've talked about unmet friends. It's like a bunch of us are getting together to cook. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to actually take my pork chops out of this liquid, and I'm going to put them on a cookie sheet for just a minute, just like that. And set them aside. So what I'm going to do now is the flour that I have left over, I'm going to add just a little warm water in here and whisk it together. Now you can use cornstarch if you want to as a thickener, but all I'm going to do is thicken this sauce that the pork chops is in, make a roux out of it. So I need to add just a little more water to that. So I've got the flour that I breaded the pork chops in. I've added the water, and I'm just gonna pour it in this liquid that's the pork chops were cooking in. Like I say, I have my own little twist to this. Well, I think I said chicken marsala earlier, and it can be chicken. You can do any meat with it, but I'm using pork chops. So this is pork chops marsala, I guess. But I don't know if you could really call it that since I'm not using the wine in it. What I'm doing here is just getting the lumps of the flour out, thickening the broth just a little bit. You don't want it to be too thick either. If it gets too thick, just add some more liquid to it. Now I'm gonna add my pork chops back into this. Now they have simmered in this liquid for about 15 minutes. And really and truly, they are done. We're gonna let them simmer just another few minutes. Also during this pantry challenge, I'm gonna be showing some things that I make from scratch that might surprise you how easy it is. I always had some kind of challenge on Facebook in the months of January and February. I'm excited about joining in with these girls, and I'd love for you to join me in this too. All right, first we're gonna put our butter noodles on the plate. Then we'll move over here to the pork chops. Doesn't that look good? Sweet Hunter's in the kitchen with me. He's been working in the house. Tell him what you've been doing, Sweet Hunter.
She's had me busy all morning. Cleaning bathrooms. Been outside getting caught up on some work. Always something. I didn't know this retirement was going to be so busy.
And he's my cameraman. And y'all know he's my business partner. Doesn't this look good? Sweet Hunter, what do you think?
I think I'm ready to cut this thing off and get to eating.
I bet you are.
It's great.
Don't that look good?
Mm-hmm.
This is all from our pantry, y'all. This is pork chops that I had in the freezer, mushrooms that needed to be used, noodles, the end of those noodles, and the spices, of course, I had. And I made a small salad.
Yum, yum.
So here, I made the salad with just what I had. I had romaine lettuce, so I just chopped it up. I didn't want to boil eggs or anything like that, so I just used some cherry peppers and some, what do you call it, pepperoncini peppers? Is that what they're called, Sweet Hunter?
I don't know.
And a little cheese chopped up. And the homemade rolls were in the freezer. So he's ready to eat, right?
I'm ready to eat. Hey, y'all go cook something.
Y'all go cook something.